effort against Colorado State. I thought Colorado State was hitting some tough shots. I thought defensively, we played with good intensity. I thought we did what we wanted to do. We did some nice things percentage-wise from 2 and 3. Didn't get them on the line a lot, which was good. I thought offensive rebounding hurt us. I thought they hit some timely shots. I think Clavel's 3 in a row in the second half kind of hurt us. But the biggest thing is we got to figure out how to manufacture points. Going forward, that's going to be the biggest thing for us is how to manufacture points. And I think we can get that from several people, and they just got to play with a little bit more confidence. I think our guys will understand today we got to keep waiting for the next one. Their next ones are running out. So we're sitting at 9 and 7. Lost 2 in a row, 1 on the road, 1 at home against the league leading team that is playing well. So we're looking forward to the trip to Wyoming. Laramie's a tough place to play. They got a good team. Allen's done a really good job with the team they have. They play up tempo. They're scoring 80 points a game. Hopefully we'll be able to score, but that's going to be the key for us. Are we going to be able to score the ball? So we'll work a lot today trying to do that. We got to continue to do that and find some guys to make some shots, but we got to get back to getting on the line and being a little bit more physical, driving the ball. We have to get stops and get out in transition. It can't be sporadic stops. It has to be several in a row to get a rhythm and get a little momentum going. So that's what we'll continue to work on. But looking forward to practice and looking forward to the challenge on Saturday.
How do you make up for you said looking for other scoring sources. How do you make up for the loss on the post play without the team?
Well, I think the biggest thing O was able to do against Boise because it was new how we were playing, and he's able to get rim runs on the pick and roll, and they didn't really shrink the floor, and he's able to get catches and score it or dunk it. I think Fresno and I think Colorado State did a really good job shrinking the floor, and we didn't swing the ball or look cross court, and we've got to make those plays. I thought we held the ball too much, JP. I think the way that we can make up for it scoring on the post is we got to drive it. We got to drive and try to drive to score it, and then we have to get to the foul line. But we should be with our guard offense and all the guards we're playing, we should be able to drive it. So that's one way we're trying to make it up. Hopefully Connor can make up a little bit of that. Joe's been able to score some. He did against Fresno. So we've just got to continue to play and execute what we're trying to do, which is difficult for our guys right now just because it's not familiar.
When Trump first got hurt, you guys rose up, and you got some good performances from like all across the board.
Right.
People, you feel encouraged by that they'll respond again?
I do. I feel encouraged that I think everybody knows what they have to do. I think they understand we have to score the ball, but Van, you've watched us play this year. If you take our last 2 games, we're 17 points on average below what we're scoring, and that's hard to win. I mean, when and you got to give credit. Both those teams played excellent defense, but it's not like we haven't seen good defenses all year. So we have to continue to try to score the ball, but to score 56 and 60 is difficult to win league games, especially the way everybody's scoring the ball this year with the shot clock. But I think we have some guys that can do it. I think we got some guys that got to get some more, just got to make plays or try to make plays. I'm not so concerned about do we have guys that can do it. I think I'm more concerned on will they try to do it. So it's not like they're being stopped not to try to do it. So we just got to have guys make plays.
When you have Tim obviously playing a team as up-tempo as Wyoming, you guys still have to make an effort to kind of slow things down and beat your offense. Now that you guys are doing this 4 guards, is there a risk that, especially some of your younger guards, might just get caught up in the pace of the game too much?
They could definitely get caught up in the pace. I don't mind us running with them. I don't mind us playing that tempo because I think we've got a lot of guys that can play. I think we got a lot of guards that can play. My biggest concern is going to be on the defensive end, giving them easy shots, easy 3-point looks where they can really shoot it. And we got to limit transition points. And I think once you get going up and down like that, Jeff, then it tends to, you start giving up too much transition points and that will hurt us. But in the same sense, it's also a catch-22 in the sense that it's an easy way for us to score getting out in transition, but that's all going to be dictated on if we can get some stops.
You mentioned defensively type deal. Is defending the three a priority?
That's going to be huge. Transition defense is going to be good. Has to be good. That's going to be a key. Pick and roll coverage, how we're going to guard pick and rolls is going to be huge. And then what we haven't been doing very well is we're turning the ball over, and that's leading to easy scores. And I don't know if it's not. I don't believe it's the pressure, JP, that people are putting on us. I just think guys aren't being really consistent, or we're not being really focused on what we're trying to do. A little lackluster on our passes. I think we're trying to make some plays that we're not capable of, and taking chances we don't need to take.
When you guys are watching the film and you're talking about your passing, I remember seeing a bunch, and I don't know if it's just because those are the
I see a bunch too.
you throw a bunch at the feet. I mean, you guys
I just think we're throwing bad passes, Jeff. I mean, I think even on ball reversals, passes that you got to make in the next pass. I mean, we're throwing balls that guys should have a shot, and we're throwing it at their feet, like you say. Or, yeah, even like on ball reversals. I mean, we're not doing a very good job fundamentally with our passing.
What about you know how you say you're playing for seeding? Does that give more a sense of urgency just to stay where you are or move up a game with a spot?
We're going to try to win them all. We got to win. We're just going to try to win games. We're going to try to improve and get ready, but we've got to win games. So, yeah, you look at it. I don't think our guys understand it with all the tiebreakers and all the things that's going on in our league right now. We've just got to take care of what we can take care of. I mean, we can't look to who wins this game, who wins that game. You start doing that, and it's, you got to do what you can take care of. So, we're going into Wyoming trying to play one game at a time and get better, and we have to do that.
How big of a difference is it once you do get to Vegas having to play on that first-round game as opposed to not until the quarterfinals?
Well, I think the biggest thing is because it's all changed. I mean, 6 playing 11, 7 playing 10, 8 playing 9. There was discussions about not letting everybody go. So we don't want to be in that day, but we don't know what's going to happen. We're just going to try to play as best we can and see where it all falls. But hopefully we can play well enough that we can play, on Thursday.
Does it make a difference wearing your players out, especially when you may or may not have Tim and you're shorthanded?
Well, I think it has something to do because if that's the case, you got to win 4. And that makes a little bit of difference.
Are you, and I get the guys don't really understand it, the easiest scenario is just go win your 2 games. You guys
I don't think any of us really understand it. I mean, we can all look at it, and I can play the musical chairs with who's going to win what and who's done what and who has what tiebreaker, but we really don't know who's going to win. So,
were you watching any of the games last night?
I didn't watch any of them. I was just preparing for Wyoming. I mean, I looked at the scores late, but I didn't watch any of the games.
I know you've been asked several times this year about how wide open the league was and anybody could win it, but kind of more back in the pack. I mean, how far down can a team maybe make a run? I mean, maybe not the bottom teams, I get it, but
I just think it's going to be hard to win 4. I've seen it done, but it's going to be difficult. Doesn't mean anybody can't do it. I think anybody has a chance. I really do. I mean, if you look at some of the teams, I think everybody's been competitive. So you never know who's going to get hot. You don't know who's going to get hurt. You don't know who's going to get tired. I mean, we got 2 more weeks of the season. We're just lucky we got a bye on that last week to help with Tim. Hopefully he can get well. But you have 2 more weeks of basketball, and then you got three more games to win to hopefully, go to the NCAA tournament. So, a lot can happen in 13 days. It's happened before. You just don't know. You just don't know what could happen.
what is this year been like for you personally? Like with the injuries, the roller coaster ride, because every year is a growing year because this be, like your first head coach.
Well, I thought at the start of the year, I thought when we were looking at our recruiting process, and you brought it up, I thought we were going to have all 5 starters back. And if you have all 5 starters back, you can do some things. And that didn't happen. We ended up starting a freshman point guard most of the year. Jordan Hunter's had a terrific year. So you don't know where you are. And you don't know that you have to go play Illinois State without arguably one of the better players in the league, but as far as rebounding and scoring. So you don't know that. You don't know that you're going to have 3 concussions, not counting Anthony Mathis's in preseason. So you don't know you're going to miss those 10 days. You don't know that Tim Williams is going to miss 27 days. And you don't know that Elijah Brown is not going to be able to start the season with you practice-wise. So it's been unique. It's been a little different. But I got to give our kids credit. They've never stopped working. They've never stopped trying to get better. But, I mean, you have ups and downs. You lost 3 in a row early. You lost some games you probably shouldn't have lost. You had a big-time defeat to Nevada that you don't think is going to happen. And then you win some games you don't think you're going to win. You win, back-to-back road games at Boise and Colorado State. You lose Tim Williams, and then you're going, you're 3-3 without him, which you could very easily be 0-6, or you could easily be 5-1. You just don't know. So it's been one of those years where you just keep trying to change, but it's probably the only year that I've had to really do change on the fly just with personnel. Because the unique thing is we go into the season, Van, and I don't mean to get long-winded about this answer, but you go into the season with Xavier Adams and Tim Williams. Well, you've been without Xavier Adams since the Utah State game. You've been without Tim Williams for a month in February, which we haven't been very good, except my first year. So, that's one of those things that's difficult, but the kids have really worked hard. They've done everything I've asked them to do. The last 2 games, we haven't been able to score the ball. And that's been the difficult thing.
Has it stressed you as a coach, like as far as the learning process? When you talk to other coaches and stuff like that, you think like,
Well, I think everybody deals with it. So I don't think I'm the only one that deals with it. I mean, everybody acts like that we've been the only one that had to deal with the Nevada game, but that's not the truth. That's happened twice this year to other teams. It's happened in the last year 4 or 5 times. So, I mean, it's not like we're not the only ones, but we're not the only team that has injuries, Van. So, I mean, everybody's had injuries. It's just to who? If you take that guy off everybody else's team, that's the difficult process for us because of what he brings and what he does and how he's a security blanket for you when you can't score it. I think Jeff said it. I think after the Colorado State game or Boise went on the road, if you get in trouble, you can always just throw it to him. And right now we don't have that. That's nothing against my kids. That's nothing against my players. That's nothing against what they can do. But that's his game. If you ever got in trouble or you haven't scored 3 or 4 possessions, then, Jeff's asked the question. I think JP's asked the question, how much is too much throwing it to him? Well, now when you can't throw it to him at all, or how many shots is he getting enough shots? That's been always we've talked about, or how many times you're going to throw it to him. And when you don't have it, that's difficult for our team, just because that's the way we've been formed going into this year. And now you're taking that putty and you're trying to reform what you're trying to do.
How's he doing?
He's good. I think it's difficult. He's a great kid. He's highly intelligent. He does great in school, but it's bothering him. I think he sits down there by me, and I can tell it's bothering him that he can't play and he can't help. But he's such a good kid. I mean, he's not going to make a big deal about it, but I know he wants to help his teammates. I know it bothers him. But it's just one of those things. He can't do anything about it. He's got no control over the situation. None of us do. So we'll see what happens on Monday.
What about his involvement, either in film or in practice? Is he just kind of staying back and letting the guys do their
No,
thing,
he's been
or-
pretty good. He's been in all the film sessions. He talks to them. He talks to them during the games. The one thing he's really good about the game, knows the game, knows what we have to do, knows what we should do. He talks to the guys during the game. So he's still engaged, and I just think it's very difficult to be engaged when you can't do anything about it. That's, I mean, X is real engaged. I don't know if you watch him. He sits behind the bench, and he's always talking to somebody. He just can't sit on the front of the bench in case we have a wipeout over there and we don't need him to get hit. But I think they're both engaged. It's just a difficult deal.
Changing gears a little bit, over the last 2 days, we've seen nationally John Calipari kind of take it from the student section with the took it from the student section. What's the worst you've ever had to put up with, and kind of where do you fall on, I'm the coach, I'll put up with it, to this person needs to be removed, kind of deal, or getting out of hand?
I just think there's two issues. I think when it becomes personal attacks, which I had to deal with a lot last year, I think that's over the line. And I don't know what happened with Coach Patino. I saw what happened with Coach Cal. That's a little bit over the line. I think with the thing that we've let go as a game is there's just too much talking between players. There's too much trash talking. It's just too much instead of just play. And I don't know what that's from, but it's been way more than it's ever been that I've been associated with college basketball. It's been way more than I've been associated when I was in the NBA. I don't know where this all started, but this year's been way more than it's ever been. And I think that we as adults or people of responsibility and in charge of programs have to spend more time discussing it. And I think that we have to do a better job of it, not only in my program, but I'm just talking it for the game. I mean, I think that's one thing that's been really, really different this year is just a lot of talking going on amongst the players during games. And I just don't understand that. And not only that, players talking to coaches. Now that goes a little bit, and you know, I work for somebody that really it bothers me. I just think that's very disrespectful, and it goes on all the time, and it's wrong.
Do you think the AAU circuit may contribute to that?
I don't know, Van, if it's the AAU. I just think it's I don't know what you guys think, but I think Jeff's seen it because he's been up close and personal in some of the games where he sits, and I think you guys see it. But I just think there's a lot of talking going on between, and that's not my guys do it too. I'm not saying my guys don't. I'm just saying it's way more than it's ever been over the years. I think it's been way more, and that's just not just our league. I just think it's everywhere. I don't know what it's from. It's something that probably needs to be addressed, and I know we're zero tolerance now, and I understand that. But I just think it's a little bit more than, you know, and it's difficult. You know, we have a difficult job. And we have difficult. I mean, we're in the, you know, we're in the spotlight. But when it starts getting personal and stuff like that, and they then that's a little bit over the line.
I do want to ask one more about Allen. He's a guy that I guess how many of their principles are the same as it was, just a lot faster, or is everything changed?
Well, I feel bad for him because he grew up in Florida and now he's at 21 degrees up there. So I mean, it's a little bit different for him. But
how about the basketball?
he's doing a heck of a job. No, I think he's done a little bit. I think their defensive philosophy's always been the same. I think they try to teach the same thing. I just think they've opened it up a little bit with the players they've been able to recruit. I think Larry was such a good defensive coach and really wanted to get the most out of possessions because of the players they had. I thought he coached the players that were there, and I think you know, he's opening it up a little bit. I think the players he has, the scoring he has in the post, the guards that he has, I just think they're playing a little bit faster, and I think that's the way he wants to play. But I mean, you look at, you know, he worked for Coach Shiat. And Larry's as good as it gets, but you got to look where he came from. You know, he plays for Patino. I mean, he plays from some guys that were pretty up tempo in a lot of possessions.
Is what he wants to do, and what you know, the first half of the season it was working pretty well. Maybe they I don't want to say hit a wall, but it's kind of scaled back a little
I
bit.
think we all try to do that, Jeff. I just think what happens is fouls, the way the game's called, energy, going, second half of the season is difficult. Guys' pace, guys' physical stamina, their endurance, nicks, injuries.
But
I
he's
think.
stuck with it, though, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think they're all. I think they're not playing as near as fast as they did early, but I don't think anybody can do that just because of the physical drain on your body and the physical toll on it. But I think they're still playing the same way. I think they're probably. I think at one time they were sixth in tempo, and now I think they're 11th, or yeah. So I mean, it's pretty close.
what about you guys energy-wise? You guys have one more bye, but are you guys legs-wise? Your legs under you guys still?
I think we are with the young guys. I just don't think they're ready for. They didn't know what it was about. That's something we've been trying to do. If you look at our team, like we were talking about playing Wyoming today, and you thought at the start of the year you're going to play Wyoming, and you look at their team and go, man, they're young, but we're younger than they are. I mean, we're as young as anybody in the league who the guys we're playing. I mean, we're starting 2 freshmen. We got a junior, a senior. I mean, and then we come off the bench with the guys we got a young group. So I think you would think that you'd have more energy and more legs with your young guys, but I think some of those freshmen haven't been through it yet. So hopefully they'll get a second wind. But, I'm concerned about Elijah just because of his injury and how much it takes a toll on him just because of how they guard him and the pressure that's put on him from defenses. And, we put a lot of pressure on him too, trying to score the ball and getting fouled. I mean, that was unique the other night, not getting to the foul line. But, we got to give him some breaks. And I think we have. We took the day off yesterday. We're trying to do what we need to do to finish out the year strong, and hopefully some of those young guys will bounce back.
And his hamstring's okay? I didn't see him grab it once, but
I think so. He says it is. I'm just going on what he tells me, but I think his fall at Fresno had an effect on it. I think if you watch the game, I think he might have hurt it a little bit or re-aggravated it, but he seems to he's never going to complain. He's never going to sit out. He never wants to act like he's hurt. So that's just part of it.
You talked about scoring more and getting some of the guys to step up and score more. Who is showing the most promise of taking on their role and perhaps to give Elijah a break because everybody's
Right.
teaming up?
Well, I think Dane Kuiper has to do that. I think Dane Kuiper has the ability to do that, which he showed in the Air Force game. Now, I think he passed up some shots in Fresno. I think he passed up some shots in Colorado State. I think he did. Now, I don't think he's doing it. I just think he's getting back in from, what he went through in the 10 days and not doing anything and timing and just trying to get back into the flow. I think that has something to do. I think Damian Jefferson can do that. Damian is very, very talented where he can score the ball. He's a scorer. Sometimes they don't go in. Sometimes they do. So, he had a tough go at Colorado State, but I got no problem on him trying to score. I think Jalen can do more going to the rim. I think Jalen can do more being more aggressive. And then Jordan Hunter not being able to play in the second half because of illness, that hurt us because he can make shots. Jordan can make shots and make plays. So, those guys, I think, have the ability to do that.
Does the bye week, kind of to Jeff's point, come at a good time, I guess, before you gear up for your last game?
Yeah, because we got senior night. We got to gear up, and then we're going to make that next week's big. So, it helps because of the Tim situation, but it'll help us try to figure out some things, and hopefully we play really, really hard on Saturday and get some rest after that and then gear up for the last one.
Earlier today, you said defense will be key against Wyoming. With this group, they can play. Which gives you the better chance, if man or zone?
Man, this was the stretch where we eliminated playing more than 10 possessions of zone, and we won 4 straight. So the games we played really, really well. The games we played and won, we've played predominantly man.
Offensively, Damian Jefferson was here after the game, and He said, I do well when I'm in my spot and I know where to go. Kind of made me think, you know, does he know the offense? And I'm not picking on him or him specifically, but as a group, you keep saying this thing's a work in progress. Specifically in that work, do the guys know the plays? Do they know where they're supposed to be?
Well, it's hard for me to say that because everything's new. You're asking kids to learn 13, 14 different things when you just put it in a week ago. So we hadn't committed to play this four-guard thing till, you know, after we knew Tim was going to be out for a while. I think at UNLV we started Joe and went big, and then after that we went four guards, and then we've just putting things in on the fly. So, you know, yeah, if they can get in their spots and do what they have to do, then they're pretty successful right now, but it's all new to them. So it's not anything about guys knowing the plays or what they're doing. It's just new.
Are guys getting the shots that you want them to take, or are they kind of settling and sit back?
I don't think we're moving the ball like we're capable of moving. I think when we move the ball and get transition to get us rhythm, I think we're good, but we have to move the ball. But we do have to take better shots. Appreciate it, y'all.